Hello there, I'm Leigh Tilley, Chief Technical Officer for 2 to 3 to 4 and co-founder of 2 to 3 to 4 alongside Mark Haney. So the reason that we founded 2 to 3 to 4 is to bring healthy nutrition for 2 to 4-year-olds and to enable parents to, in everyone's busy lives these days, to enable convenience and from a technical aspect, a digital platform for parents and children alike to have fun, to be entertained, to be educated and to be informed. So my background is in software development, consultancy and management through media companies, investment banks, a variety of different scenarios. So it's been so much fun so far to use this technical background to build WUBLWorld. So WUBLWorld is our digital platform that will support all of our products. And the first product is Wubl Water that should be launching this week, our first production run. So the aim of this video, there's been an introduction for me obviously, and now I'm going to walk you through WUBLWorld itself. So WUBLWorld is a faraway place for our children, or tiddly peeps as Mark has named them, for our children to learn and explore through a variety of animations, stories, games and crafts too. So initially you'll see that we have 3 short animations, so that's our watch zone. Then there's the listen zone where we'll have stories. Currently there's the first story there, Glop and the Hoops. So this is the listen zone where parents or guardians or babysitters maybe will read stories to their children. And the next zone is the play zone, an arcade. So for me, much like a lot of people my age, they spent their childhood playing arcade games or computer games, consoles and so on. So I've actually built an arcade for us, and there you'll see a scrolling carousel of games. And the first game, Maker World, can be launched from this arcade. So Maker World is a game that's concerned with introducing our children to the landscapes of WUBLWorld, but enabling them to build and construct their own landscapes. And these landscapes are actually pictures that can be then emailed to the parent's email address. So as I'll show you as I walk through each area, you can see the game itself. With Maker World, there's the concept of 5 layers: clouds, sky, mountain, grass and trees. And each of these 5 layers of the backdrop can have 4 colors each. And then we have 9 characters, and the characters can be dragged on to the scenery. So this, in my mind, back when I devised this game, I thought of fuzzy felt. So this is effectively, in essence, a digital fuzzy felt where you drag our Wubl characters on. But then after you've placed the Wubl characters onto the landscapes, you have the orange slider, and our Wubls, of which we can add an unlimited amount of each copy of the 9 characters, can be sized from 1 to 10. So we have 5 layers: the clouds, sky, mountain, grass and trees. They can be 4 colors each. We have 9 characters, of which we can add an unlimited amount of copies, and each of these characters can be resized. So there are an unlimited amount of variations or permutations, and at the click of an email button, the envelope email button itself, a copy will be constructed in memory. I won't go too technical. It whizzes off and will appear in the recipient's inbox as a picture that can be printed off, perhaps put on the fridge, sent to friends, aunts, grandparents, parents, whomever. But the point is, we're creating, we're learning about dragging, dropping, colours, landscapes, sliders, sizes, growing, shrinking. And the reason I do this is that these games, this platform has been tested twice already at preschool, over in Hampshire. And at that point, you know, I mentioned my career. I've dealt with all sorts, full-on CEOs, COOs, full-on traders, angry, screaming traders, that kind of thing. And for this particular project, I'm on my hands and knees in a preschool surrounded by 15 3-year-olds, and they loved it, such that we had to lie and say that the batteries were running out on the 4 pads, iPads, tablets that we had with us. They loved it, and most of the time I mentioned that the growing and the shrinking is something that was echoed many times by the children. Oh, look how big he is! Look how small he is! Constantly, and to see the joy, delightment, engagement, and involvement with this first game was amazing. And my favourite related to this game thus far. And after the game section, we have the create zone, and this is particularly because all the things I've mentioned thus far are digital, and we love digital. We're championing this platform. However, we do know that it's important for the eye contact, communications, and just getting on and creating a relationship, really, which we need to come out of the digital world and work on crafts and creations. So the create zone currently has a scrolling container, which means that it's geared up for infinite content. And currently there are 5 printable masks in the create zone. So the concept here is that anything that appears on this page will either be instructions to construct, make, or even cook something. There'll be recipes in the future. And the current crop are masks that can be printed and cut out to stick on cardboard and to use as masks or characters in perhaps a play or a diorama, something like that. And lastly, we have the parents page, which is for our gatekeepers, our parents, to stay informed of our latest products, any research that we conduct, our social media links, and anything to stay informed and to work with us. We want to empower our parents such that in their busy lives they say, okay, we can go to 2 to 3 to 4. We can trust what 2 to 3 to 4 say. We can communicate with 2 to 3 to 4, and they listen, and that we can talk. There's a two-way mechanism here, and we feel included. It's an inclusive environment, not exclusive. We'll be offering exclusive content, but we want to push the fact that we are very much an inclusive company, and we'll be creating groups. We've got our Facebook page, we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram already, the usual social platforms, and we won't be constrained to just one. So now I'll actually walk you through the platform itself. So initially we have our launch pad now. So the concept here is that how do we get to WUBLWorld? It's somewhere else, right? So we have a nice launch platform here, and the big shiny flashing red button in the middle has an arrow pointing upwards. So if we click this button, the rocket will take off and will fly through space to WUBLWorld itself, and we'll hear the new theme music. And then we'll be at WUBLWorld, free to delve into any area of the WUBLWorld, of the platform of WUBLWorld that I mentioned earlier. We have, as I mentioned, the watch zone, the listen zone, the play zone, the create zone, and the parent zone. And our digital platform doesn't care which size of screen that you're on, and it doesn't care which orientation that you're in either. And by that I mean portrait or landscape. the platform has been designed and constructed such that it will work on pretty much most screens and the main browsers too. Google's Chrome, Apple's Safari, Mozilla's Firefox, Microsoft's Edge, and even the new browser Ecosia, which is an ecologically minded browser based on Chrome. And the concept of Ecosia is that the more you browse, the more that you're helping the environment and to plant trees. So that aligns well with our modern product of sharing health news and information news, nutrition, and so on. So now that we're at WUBLWorld, let's look at each zone. Okay, so we open up a browser. Here we'll use Chrome. And we type in WUBLWorld. It will take you to HTTPS, which you don't need to worry about, but this essentially means that it's a secure site with secure certification. So here we have the launch pad, our flashing buttons, and the main button with the up arrow. We click it, we launch off, we fly through space, and we can slowly see WUBLWorld appearing. And the title sequence comes in. So here we are. And as I talked about earlier, we can see on the left here, because we're in landscape mode, the home page, the video page, which we'll click first. Go to the watch zone that I mentioned. So here we go, it's loading. Looks like my internet connection slowed down a little bit, but there we go, it's loaded. And we can see here many Wubbles bouncing around and looking up at our Rock TV. And here's the first of there's currently 3 animations here, but there'll be more. As we can see there, this is our pumping up one, where the Wubble's been inflated and he's exploded into millions of different Wubbles. And there we go, the Wubl logo there. And here we can see that whilst the video is embedded in our moving rock face, there is an expand icon on the bottom right. In fact, I think on the next video you may see me expand it slightly. So this means that it can be expanded into full screen mode. What I was recording on here was actually smaller than full screen, but there's full screen, it will come back. So yeah, this the reasoning behind this screen is that it's a living, breathing page. All of the zones of WUBLWorld are to look like almost like a pop-up book, really. So this is moving. We've got the dials there on front of the TV, which will change the channel. And currently there are only 3, but still you can see the idea here. And you can either use the dials or you can click on the small pictures on the right there. These small pictures are called thumbnails, which you would have seen on many web pages, applications and apps on your smartphone, be it iPhone, Android, Windows Phone, maybe even BlackBerry. They're making a comeback now, albeit powered by Android. So there we've seen the next video. Yeah. And there's a little demonstration of the dials and the fact that, as I mentioned, you can click the thumbnails. So now this is the listen zone. Again, we can see here the concept of a living world. We've got the windmill there, the rocket's taken off, one of the Wubbles has gone on a journey, and we can see some hot air balloons moving in the background. And this is our first story, Glop and the Hoops. So I'm using this on a desktop without touchscreen. So as you can see there, I'm clicking on the control arrow buttons But as I mentioned earlier, the entire platform is designed and developed to work on desktop, tablet and mobile phone. So whilst these controls are here on a phone or a tablet, you would swipe these pages and you would navigate through the books. So much like the video zone, the watch zone, in future there will be thumbnails for the different stories. This zone has one story at the moment, but each bay or zone has been designed for infinite content. Here we are at the game zone or play zone, and we're scrolling through the arcade here. All of the white posters are future ideas, voice changers, bubble poppers, fetch. As I said, each zone is being developed for infinite content. And so the first game here is in a color poster, which means that it's active. So let's launch the Wubl Make a World game. I mentioned this earlier in my introduction. So initially, until I get the registration and sign up form ready, we have this form here that will capture the parent's name, an email address and a child's name. So this is because I mentioned earlier that you create a picture and then the picture can be emailed to you. So here we go, let's launch the game. And here we are. So initially it looks much like a colouring in book. And I'll try to drag one of my digital fuzzy felt characters. Remember I mentioned that it's a little bit like fuzzy felt. We've got red arrows here alerting us to the fact that there's either a purple-ish button here, which we'll come to later, or as you can see me here starting to play around with the layers. So I mentioned that there's clouds, sky, a mountain, grass and trees, and I'm here working my way through. I click on each layer or button layer and I can cycle through the 4 available colours for each layer. And there I've built the background, and now that the background is in place, I can begin to drag my characters onto the screen. So I'm dragging them onto the screen or landscape or canvas, to use more of a creative art term, as it is a canvas that we're working on. And I mentioned the orange slider there, so we're learning how to drag and drop items or characters. We've constructed a landscape and we're making our characters grow. You saw there the eraser. So there was a funny story early on in development. Mark's daughter was playing and she said, Dad, I love putting characters on, but how do I get rid of one? And where I've been working away, I'd forgotten to put in this feature. So the eraser was added partway through the design and development phase. It's it's an ongoing process. It's an iterative thing, which is popular these days in development, where you keep testing and trying things, and you don't work away for ages. You keep trying stuff out. So we can see here quite a busy picture, and I'm going to turn the sound off there. You can see that we can still play around, and then turn the sound effects off also. So most apps and games give you the ability to turn sound effects on or off, and also our theme music on or off also. So I'm clicking the envelope button there and we hear a sound, which means it's whizzed away. Let's come into the email. I've got a folder here. I must have clicked it twice very quickly. So we can see that it's been generated using Wubl Make a World. And let's just enable pictures. So hello there, Leigh, which is the name I put in for the parent, the email address that I put in, and your beautiful child, Emily, has just created this picture, which can now be saved to disk, forwarded on, printed off, put on the fridge, sent to your friends, your aunt, your nan, your parents, anyone. So in the future we will have an art gallery and perhaps competitions, the picture of the week or the month, with prizes on our WUBLWorld digital world. So in the meantime we are busy collecting all of these pictures. we look forward to seeing just how many different variations that our children, our tiddly peeps, can create. And here I'm mimicking what we saw at preschool, where I saw the 2, 3 and 4-year-olds. They like to really cram in lots of characters here, and as I mentioned, it's unlimited. We can reset using the circular button there at the top, and it comes back to an art pad. I've cheated there. I've used the randomize button. So that button, as you see, it enables you to quickly set backdrops, and each time you click it, it randomly chooses colors for the different layers. And there I'm putting on some quite large characters. Excuse me, and it's off again. Let's just look at the email again. I clicked it once there, so let's enable the pictures. And yeah, yet another beautiful creation that can be forwarded, shared, printed off, shared on social media. And as I mentioned, as the platform expands, we will be making more of these pictures, and there will be a gallery. So we leave the gaming zone and off to the create zone. So I mentioned earlier that there's a focus on digital for the first few zones, the watch, listen and play zone. And here we are in a container that will eventually have infinite content. And initially we have here 5 printable masks. So this is busy calculating, and it doesn't matter the device that you use this on, it will calibrate and prepare an A4 printable mask. So we have glop, plip, plup, uggle and wuggle, our first 5 characters. And if you click on each one here, it will prepare an A4 printable page. And it doesn't matter which device that you're on, iPad, Android, Windows, desktop, Mac, whatever you use this on, it will prepare a printable document. And then it's up to you to find your printer on your Wi-Fi network, and then you can print. And you can print these off as masks or little models to use on various games or dioramas. And here we are. Lastly but not leastly, I mentioned this is the parents page. So again, it looks much the same as the others in terms of graphics. It's still beautifully, beautiful backdrop here. And I'm scrolling through the key information there on the first product, Wubl Water. And there are our social media links here, which I'll launch into different tabs here. I'll open them and let them load separately. At the moment, you have a contact at WUBLWorld. So you can contact us there by clicking that to launch an email. If you click the F, the Facebook icon, it'll launch our Facebook page at WUBLWorld Official. Twitter, to go to our Twitter page here. So for our Twitter handle is at WUBLWorld. I'll add the Instagram as well, but just if you listen to what I say here, I'm saying at WUBLWorld will also work for Instagram too. And here we can see our Facebook page at WUBLWorld Official. We had to add official there as there was already a similar page. And here's our YouTube channel where I'll be adding various different pieces of content. There's animations, there's some R&D, the research and development, and the testing. And here we are on our corporate page. So if you'd like to read more about 2 to 3 to 4 Limited, the company behind WUBLWorld and Wubl Water, that's us as a company. About us is our mission, and you can see Wubl versions of us there. If you're wondering why I have a dragon, it's because I have dragon tattoos. Mark there, John the artist, and Pete is our marketing director. Here we have, I'm showing you the PDF for potential buyers and stockists, and they can find out all about Wubl Water. This is a printable, downloadable PDF documents specifically for the first product, which will launch later this week. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, click in the contact form there. There's a contact form which will be converted into an email, or there's the email address there as well, info@2to3to4.com. And a privacy policy to show that we're all legally above board and we do things in the correct manner. As you can see, everything is been built with strong foundations as we are here to grow. So come and grow with us. Come and learn and grow and stay fresh. Here we are. We'll come back to WUBLWorld's launch platform, which is where we can take ourselves to WUBLWorld. So thank you for listening. You see that we're taking off again there. We'll fly through space. Looks like my internet connection's a little bit slow, so it's gone a little bit jerky. But no matter. Once you load these things, like anything with internet, it can be a bit slow. Once you get there, everything will be fast. So thank you for listening. Stay in touch with us on all of our different channels. We have, as I mentioned, at WUBLWorld for Facebook and Instagram. Sorry, at WUBLWorld Official for Facebook. Twitter and Instagram are both at WUBLWorld. And YouTube, simply search for Wubl space world. And you can follow us on all of our different social channels, and we'll be sharing on probably every day. I would say there'll be some content going up as we inform you of our journey. This is a journey, and as I mentioned earlier in the introduction, we are inclusive. We offer exclusive content, exclusive entertainment and educational and informative content, but we are all about inclusion. We want to co-create with you as parents and children alike. As I mentioned, we test everything on the digital platform. We test it at preschools, so we also welcome invitations to come down to you if you teach and or run some kind of teaching and training facility for 2 to 4 year olds. Don't forget to get in touch with either me, Lee, as I mentioned, the CTO, or Mark Haney. Either way, you can use the email addresses that you've seen, or simply go to 2to3to4.com. Thank you for listening.